Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I've got a black Strat on the bench today. It's a 2020 made in Mexico Fender Player Stratocaster that's in a HSS configuration, and I'm going to go ahead and tear it down today in preparation for a future project, and we'll take a look at some of the parts and whatnot along the way. It'll be a short episode, but ought to be informative. I'm going to start out by removing the strings. Strings are out of the way, so let's go ahead and remove the neck. So in 2020, Fender was using the F neck plate. This neck is dated December of 2020. It's got an overhang, 22 frets, probably medium jumbo frets, and it looks like rosewood, maybe a Pal Faro board, and it's kind of a medium C profile. Nothing really significant to point out here in the neck pocket. Solid piece of wood, obviously, probably poplar or alder, definitely a polyester finish. The neck is a 2 3/16 width. It's got a single action truss rod, single string tree, vintage style, and of course it's got the standard Fender tuners that they've been using since the 80s that have the 2 posts underneath. Being a Fender player, the serial numbers on the back of the headstock starts with MX20 for 2020. And it's got a nice spaghetti logo on the front. The neck radius comes in right at 9.5, and the nut is a plastic nut. It's probably some sort of synthetic bone, but it's definitely plastic. Back here on the body, it's got a vintage style tremolo, but it's a 2-post, even though it has the vintage saddles. It's a full block tremolo, so it has the full thickness block on the back, and it's a full thickness body, so a full 1 3/4 inch thickness. So let's take a quick look inside the back. Pretty standard here. 3 springs, full block tremolo. You know, the one thing I like about these player bodies versus some of the older bodies, they route them after the finish is applied, so the finish does not extend into the cavities, and it makes it look really clean. Let's grab the weight of this body. Right around 6 pounds. 11 pickguard screws. Some of these were kind of spongy when they came out, so I think I've got some repairs to do before it goes back together. All right, inside here, we've got an Alnico set of neck and middle pickups, and then the standard 4-wire Fender humbucker in the bridge here. Crazy enough, we have a super switch, and I don't know if that's stock on this guitar. CTS pots, Oak Grigsby style switch. And I guess we'll take a look under the jack cavity. Standard jack, probably a Switchcraft knockoff. It's plastic wafers instead of their fiber wafers. No shielding in the jack cavity. There is shielding to a point in this cavity, and it's grounded with a lug. This particular body has only 1 CNC locator hole instead of 3 like some of them have. Then it's got 1 here in the neck pocket as well. This pickguard is marked FSR, so this may not be a standard HSS player Strat. If you've never seen a super switch before, I just wanted to give you a close-up. It's a double wafer switch, so it's got 2 completely independent layers. And in this case, Fender has used it so that the bridge has a tone control, everything else has a tone control, and then in the 4th position, in between the middle and bridge positions, the bridge humbucker is actually coil tapped so that only 1 of the coils is active. I do think this is an original setup because I don't see any disturbed solder connections on the pots. They're all dated 2020, and the switch is also dated 2020. Let's get a couple readings off of the pickups. Neck pickup, 7.3K. Middle pickup, 7.7K. Bridge pickup, 7.2K. Whenever I'm taking these pick guards and other things off the guitar, sometimes you'll notice that the wood is a little bit spongy around that screw, and then when you go to put it back on, it'll just continue to turn and turn. That's the case with about 3 of these pick guard screws, but I'm just going to repair 1 to kind of show you what I do to fix those. So I've got an 1/8 inch drill bit. I'm going to enlarge this hole just a little bit. Doesn't take much. And you can see it doesn't make it that much bigger. And I'm going to use a little piece of an 1/8 inch dowel rod, glue that in place, hammer it in, let that dry, and then I'll cut it off. Then I'll take off the excess When that dries, I'll cut it off with a razor blade that's got tape wrapped around the two edges, so there and there, so that just the middle of the blade's exposed. And I can come in and trace around the edges of that, almost cut all the way off, and then you can snap it off with your fingers. That makes it really nice, and then you can level that with this blade and then re-drill the hole, and it's good as new. Well, that wraps up our teardown, disassembly, and inspection of this Fender Player Stratocaster 2020 model. I think it's going to provide a lot of parts for the future, and it's definitely given us a lot of good information today. So thank you guys for all the likes and the comments. Thank you very much for the subscriptions, and I'll see you guys next time.